Welcome to WALNUT Stories, your home of amazing tales and legends. This is the gripping story of Mariana, a woman who experienced insurmountable grief through countless miscarriages. Mariana was a beautiful, intelligent girl with a sharp, eager smile. Teachers at Msanda Primary School liked her because she topped her class in every exam. She completed her high school education with the second highest score, an A- grade. Her parents and siblings were besides themselves with joy.
Look at that, an A minus.
Thank you so much,
you.
headmistress.
Your daughter is going far. Now,
Her parents knew their daughter was destined for greatness. People greeted her with admiration. Women fetching water from the river whispered her name with approval, wishing their daughters would follow her example. Mariana smiled back, polite and practiced. But at 19 years old, Mariana's ambitions changed completely. She became restless. She found her thoughts wandered beyond grades and certifications. The success that had once clearly defined her future felt incomplete on its own. She did not understand what was happening to her. Her heart yearned for a connection with someone of the opposite gender. She stood at the edge of a new wanting, one that no exam had prepared her for. Her emotions became strange, tender, and hungry for affection. That is how Wekesa walked into her life. He had completed his degree in education and taught at a private high school in a nearby town. He was charming in that effortless rural way. He had a confident grin and walked with an attractive swagger. Every evening, he would come on his mountain bike and accompany her to the water spring about a kilometer from her home. Mariana, he would call her affectionately. Let me walk you to the water spring. She would laugh shyly, pretending she wasn't waiting for him. Every time he spoke, he said just the right words she needed to hear. Everything about him felt right. Soon, he became the only world she could imagine. When he asked her to marry him, her world became complete. She did not consider her university education. She saw only him, his promises, and the love that warmed her heart.
Mariana, will you marry me? I love you with all that I have.
Yes, Wekesa, I love you.
She shared the news with her
Mom,
mother.
I am getting married.
Her mother
to
tried
Wekesa.
to reason with
Mariana,
her.
why are you rushing? You're still young and not ready for the challenges that come with marriage.
Her father was devastated by the news when he returned from his place of work over the weekend.
She has the best chance to pursue her education. What can I do to save my daughter from this boy? Where have I failed her? What can I do to prevent this from happening?
Her father pleaded with her mother desperately. They tried to persuade their daughter to drop the idea of marriage. But Mariana was so smitten with love that all that they said fell on deaf ears. Her ambitions of pursuing her dreams in the medical field were shelved. Her mind was set. Love mattered more than anything else. One afternoon, when her parents were attending a ceremony at their neighbor's home, Mariana packed her bags and left for Wekesa's home. Her mother cried, and her father disowned her. Her aunt Nelima could not believe it. She blamed a neighbor for casting a magic spell on her. It was easier to blame witchcraft rather than accept that Mariana's brilliant future was at stake because of love. She asked why the boy couldn't support her to pursue her education, then they could still be together when she graduated. Still, the love-struck girl had no answers. Wekesa's relatives and a few elders were sent to officially greet her father the way culture demanded. Dowry negotiations followed a few days later, and 8 fertile cows and 4 bulls were taken to Mariana's home, sealing the union officially. 6 months later, Mariana was glowing, her pregnancy bulging. She was put on a special diet: fruit juice, millet, sorghum, and cassava flour porridge for breakfast, a mixture of mashed beans, almost ripe cooked bananas, pumpkin leaves, and ugali and omena for supper. Her mother-in-law bragged to every neighbor who cared to listen. My daughter-in-law has already proved herself fertile. I am going to be a grandmother very soon, she insisted. She just didn't know it yet, but fate had some very cruel plans in store for her unborn grandson. Oh yes, a scan at the clinic had already confirmed the child's gender. In the second trimester of the pregnancy, at 26 weeks, Mariana woke up with cramps so sharp that she screamed. When she stood up, Warm blood spilled down her legs and gathered in a pool on the floor. Women rushed into the house, summoned by her screams. They whispered instructions. Someone sent for herbs. Another one told her to sit still as she gave her a glass of water. Yet another one was chanting prayers. Deep inside, she knew something was very wrong. She had attended all her clinic visits religiously. She didn't know what was wrong. She bled a lot, and by the time they arrived at the hospital the following morning, it was too late. The child was gone. When she went back home, her world had changed. Her mother-in-law sat waiting, silent, her face unreadable. Don't worry, my dear. It was just bad luck. Akinye, her neighbor and only friend, told her gently. But Mama Wekesa said nothing. Her silence was a clear condemnation. In her community, a miscarriage was believed to carry spiritual impurity, a bad omen that must be cleansed. She lost her appetite and her size shrunk visibly within a couple of days. A week after her loss, the village traditional healer, an old widow called Namulehwa, arrived early in the morning with a bundle of herbs and roots. She was instructed to change into traditional ceremonial attire as the woman chanted, "The spirits must be pacified. The womb must be cleansed." Mariana observed quietly as Namulehwa boiled a mixture of broomweed bush and ginger and some other herbs and roots she didn't recognize. The steam filled the room with a sharp, pungent smell. She was given a full cup and instructed to drink in one gulp. She managed, choking on the hot liquid. "Bend over the steaming pot," the elderly woman instructed. Mariana obeyed, determined to remove the evil omen at whatever cost. She was covered with a heavy blanket. She struggled to breathe as the heat wrapped around her. Humid and heavy. Sweat trickled down her spine. Her imagination was full of horrific images of herself steamed alive in the process of the cleansing. Namulehwa murmured incantations, calling on the ancestors to cleanse her womb, asking them to open the path for future children. Later, they walked to the river. At the water's edge, Namulehwa dipped a branch of the Kumurembe sacred tree branched into the river and used it to sprinkle water over her. "Lord of the river, please wash away her sorrow and pain. Let new life come into her womb again." When the ritual ended, Mariana felt physically clean, but emotionally raw. She returned home quietly. Wekesa comforted her, but her mother-in-law remained silent. She struggled against the thinly disguised misogyny. The second pregnancy came 6 months later. Hope bloomed in her chest again. Wekesa held her belly and whispered, "This one will stay." They attended Thursday fellowship prayers and Sunday mass together. She begged the Virgin Mary to show mercy. At 10 weeks, she woke up to a familiar pain, the betrayal of her own body. She woke Wekesa and they rushed to the hospital, hoping to save the baby to no avail. The dilation and curettage process was doubly painful, but she didn't share with anyone. She bore the pain alone. When she went for clinical visits on her third pregnancy, the nurses at the hospital insisted her husband accompany her for tests, but he refused. The third miscarriage came even sooner. The fourth followed without mercy. After the fifth miscarriage, the neighbors no longer felt sorry for her. The loud whispers were even more vicious. Maybe she was bewitched, some said. Everybody knows she's the one who carries the bad luck. Others added mercilessly. By the sixth miscarriage, the neighbors' children were instructed to avoid her. Some women refused to sit near her in church. Friends and neighbors stopped visiting. Even her siblings sent brief, cautious messages, avoiding her home. She bore the pain alone and in isolation. Her mother-in-law became openly hostile. "I don't know why my son married this one. My home needs grandchildren, not blood and tears," she said. Wekesa began spending more nights away from home. He returned smelling of alcohol and something else, perfume that wasn't hers. When she tried to convince him about going for medical tests, he snapped, "You're the one who can't carry a child, not me." The words stabbed deep. She cried every night, muffling her cries with her pillow. Mariana lived with grief that was relentless, a torment that was shaped by 6 miscarriages that hollowed her body and spirit. each loss reopening wounds that never had time to heal. Her pain was not met with solace, but with judgment. Her in-laws cursed her, encouraging her to leave. Her neighbors' hushed voices trailed her when she went to the market. And even her own siblings looked at her with thinly veiled fear when they visited, as though her suffering was contagious. To them, she was marked and stained by misfortune. Her entire community blamed her for something that she did not understand. Some people say that pain shapes the soul into something unbreakable, something harder and capable of enduring anything, that over time, it makes you emerge stronger. But pain did not forge Mariana. It hollowed her out. It worked quietly and mercilessly, eroding her dignity, draining her faith that she was still human and not merely a cast vessel of failure. Each miscarriage became another indictment, another reason for their eyes to stare too long, for their whispers to sharpen. With every stare and finger pointing, the world reminded her of what she lacked, tightening the invisible noose of isolation. The doctors at the local hospital ran extensive tests to determine the cause of her recurrent pregnancy loss, but they found nothing wrong with her. They urged her to return with her husband for further examinations. That opening might have lifted the weight of accusations by shifting blame, but his refusal crushed that fragile hope. It left her burdened by suspicion and superstition. But you know what? After 9 years of loss and stigma, a miracle of sorts happened. She became pregnant again. Her seventh pregnancy rekindled hope. It was her proof that God remembered her. She prayed relentlessly for a live birth. But when she experienced the same pain in the second trimester, she chose to endure it in silence. She held her belly, begging the unborn baby to stay. She whispered a prayer, gasping with the waves of pain. She called a friend to take her to the hospital because her husband had refused. She lost that baby too. That night, a part of her finally gave way. By dawn, guided by instinct and a longing for solace, she made her way to her parents' home. Her mother opened the door but didn't make way for her to get in. Mama, Mariana whispered, her voice trembling. Her mother folded her arms. We warned you, Mariana, she said coldly.
We warned you, Mariana, but you chose not to
Her
listen.
father stepped in behind her.
You made your
His face
decision,
hardened.
Mariana.
You
We
made your
can't help you.
decision, Mariana.
Go back
We
to your
can't
husband.
help you. Go back to your husband. Her siblings looked at her silently. They wanted to embrace her to ease her pain, but they feared their parents' unyielding resolve. Mariana turned away, her movements slow and burdened. Each step back to Ekesa's house felt heavier than the last. She found him sitting outside, his gaze barely lifting. Where have you been? He asked without feeling. I was home, she whispered. He spat on the ground. This time, you have one chance to give me children or go back to your parents for good. That night, when she once again suggested they both undergo medical examinations, his anger erupted. Do you think I'm not man enough? You think I'm the source of your miscarriages? You're the one who keeps losing my children. When she persisted, he started beating her. The blows were methodical, meant to inflict a lot of pain, but he was careful to beat her in places hidden from view, where no one was likely to see the swellings. The love and warmth that had existed between them became a distant memory. She still yearned to get her own child. She went back to Namulehwa, the village medicine woman, for another ritual. But that time she insisted on reciting the incantations herself.
Ancestors, cleanse my womb. Open the path for future children.
3 months later, she had nothing to show for her efforts. The ritual still didn't work. She sold bananas to keep busy, earn an income and avoid slipping into depression. She made enough to buy a new smartphone that she used to attend free online classes. One evening, Mariana sat alone scrolling through her phone. Her eyes were swollen from long periods of crying. She stumbled upon a post that advertised scholarships for needy students from minority groups. For the first time in years, a tiny spark flickered inside her. She applied expecting nothing, but hoping for the best. 2 months later, she received the acceptance email for the scholarship and reread it repeatedly, overwhelmed with joy. Congratulations, Mariana. You have been awarded the full scholarship. She had been selected to pursue a virtual Bachelor of Arts degree course in Education Arts at Kenyatta University. She kept the news to herself. By day, she kept on selling bananas. At night, when her husband Wekesa staggered out to drink, she logged into her classes, participating actively in the discussions and submitting the assignments on time. Learning became her lifeline. When her teaching practicum came up, she told Wekesa it was a short community training. He scoffed at the idea but allowed her to go. Mariana excelled in performance at the school as her students thrived under her care. But success did not shield her. Gossip followed her. There were whispers about her miscarriages and how she was cursed. Even fellow teachers speculated openly on the teachers' WhatsApp group. Mariana endured it because there was nothing to be done about it. Just imagine, she emerged top of her class in the final exams, but when she invited her family and friends to celebrate, they declined. She attended the ceremony alone, proud and aching in equal measure. She was in luck because shortly after, she was posted to a school in Vihiga County. When she told Wekesa she was leaving, he did not protest. Go! You have nothing to offer me after all, he said coldly. Apparently, 10 years of marriage had meant nothing to him. She packed her clothes and certificates and left. Her mother-in-law mocked her, but she didn't care. The journey to Vihiga marked her freedom from the shackles of bitterness and misogyny. Her new house was sparse. A bed, a table, a chair, but it was the freedom that did it for her. She taught English and literature, took up guidance in counseling, and slowly rebuilt her confidence. Her colleagues admired her diligence but kept a respectful distance. Rumors of her past had reached them, but she carried herself with dignity. She got back her swag and added a new spring to her step, hopeful that this new chapter of her life was a new beginning for her. Loneliness lingered, but she learned to live with it gracefully. One afternoon, Charles, a local pharmacist, approached her and introduced himself. He admired her beauty and poise. They shared tea at a kibandaski, and eventually affection grew. His words opened doors that she had locked long ago. He asked about her past, and she gave him a softened version. He listened without judgment. But 2 years later, when Charles discovered fertility supplements in her house, he withdrew. I want children. I can't gamble with my future, he said.
I can't gamble with my
She
future.
let him go without bitterness. She understood, but it was a painful ending for her. A year later, she met Patrick, a single teacher who had a daughter who adored Mariana. They stayed together until 3 years later, when his family demanded the assurance of more children. Patrick tried to defend her, but the sustained pressure from his family won. Maybe we should slow down, he said. Mariana felt the truth beneath the words. She let him go quietly. It seemed love was conditional, pegged on whether she got children or not. She was transferred to Newry, where she met Albert, another teacher. With no children 1 year later, she went for repeated tests which revealed unexplained infertility. Determined not to give up on motherhood, she turned to in vitro fertilization, a form of assisted reproductive technology. She poured more than 1.5 million of her savings into treatment. Unfortunately, despite her sustained efforts, 3 cycles failed. Her colleagues noticed the weight loss and the tired eyes. Are you fasting? You seem to be stressing yourself too much, Mrs. Juma asked one day. She simply smiled politely. Eventually, Albert too asked questions she could not answer. How could she explain a pain so deep, a threat so cruel? She had to end things with him 3 years later. Professionally, she was promoted to deputy head. Her next posting took her to the coast, to Kilifi County. Teachers greeted her curiously, already having heard bits of her story through the grapevine of staff gossip. During the weekends, she found peace in the breezy afternoons, the coconut scent, and the distant sound of waves. She met Musa, a divorced man with 3 children. Their companionship was free of expectations. They met on weekends and during school holidays. He would take her to small coastal cafes for fish and ugali. They listened to each other's experiences without judgment. One afternoon, while marking assignments in the staff room, she overheard 2 teachers talking about her outside. She's very hardworking. I heard she came from upcountry after many problems. One of them
The
said.
miscarriages.
You mean the miscarriages? The other one said. They fell silent when they stepped into the staff room and saw her, the guilt wrapped in fake smiles as they greeted her. Mariana had grown used to people talking about her as if her life were a cautionary tale. She had simply decided to grow thick skin. 2 years after she had met Musa, her body began to change. Dizziness, swelling, fatigue, you name it. She assumed menopause had arrived early, a final cruel twist to her life. Doctors dismissed her symptoms as exhaustion. When the schools closed for the December holidays, she went to Musa's house for a quiet weekend. He noticed she walked more slowly than usual. Uko sawa kweli?
Uko sawa kweli?
She nodded, forcing
Ni
a
kula
smile.
kwingi na hii raha
Ni
ya
kula kwingi tu
coast
na
tu.
hii raha ya coast
Na labda
tu.
umri
And
inanifikia.
maybe my age is also catching up. He laughed, consoling her. Age is not a disease, mama. Mimi nitakutibu na mchuzi wa pweza na maji ya nazi tu, he added. But then something changed. Her skin started glowing, her appetite changed, and her belly rounded. She laughed it off as coastal food and middle age. But wait, could it be fibroids? She was still trying to justify her weight gain when she felt something moving. She gasped. What? Wait, could it be? At 43 and with her history, pregnancy was unlikely. She rushed to the nearest hospital. The doctor asked questions and then ran tests and checked her vitals.
Congratulations, you're pregnant.
Congratulations, Mariana.
Pregnant.
You're pregnant.
Yes. Let me do a
Said with
scan to
smile.
ascertain this.
She froze and her knees gave out. Pregnant? The doctor smiled at her reaction. Yes. Let me do a scan to ascertain this. She stared at the screen. The room blurred as tears slowly streamed down her cheeks. There are 2 heartbeats. You're going to have twins. The doctor said as he printed out and gave her the scan image. Her fingers shook as she held the image. She was overwhelmed. She walked home from the clinic as if she was floating. 43, pregnant with twins, after 7 miscarriages and 3 failed IVF cycles. It seemed God had a strange sense of timing. She kept the news entirely to herself, fearing bad omens. Each morning she woke up before dawn, placed both hands on her belly, and whispered positive affirmations to preserve her blessings. Please stay. Please grow to full term. I love you.
Grow to full term.
The school principal noticed her glowing skin and teased her.
I love you.
Madam Mariana, someone is treating you very well outside here. She just laughed. If only he knew. Her belly increased in size gradually, and she bought new flowing, colorful kangas and deras. These were free-flowing coastal dresses that hid her pregnancy well. When pain struck at 7 months, she panicked and rushed to the hospital for an emergency checkup. But the doctor reassured her that the babies were okay. Doctor, please prescribe bed rest for me. I cannot go through any more suffering, she pleaded. Aware of her history, the doctor scanned her belly carefully, then reassured her again. At 8 months, she finally told Musa. He was stunned but supportive at the same time. But she made it clear the children were hers to raise. When labor began, it came swiftly. The principal rushed her to the hospital. The hospital staff moved with urgency because of her medical history. Her vitals were checked repeatedly. As pains intensified, she clenched her teeth and whispered, God, please help me. I need your vindication. Immediately after her prayer, one piercing cry filled the room. It was a girl. Then another came through, a boy. Then the doctor froze. There's another baby. They're triplets. The nurses cheered. She named them Nasike, fiery and demanding, Wanyonyi, calm and observant, and Wafula, forever hungry and forever smiling. The news spread fast, and even strangers came to witness the miracle. Her public shame had turned to public celebration. Her vindication made public for all to see. People came bringing gifts and taking pictures. She proudly let them, saying, Hey, God, see me now. Her parents wept with remorse and joy when they came to visit. They embraced her tightly, weeping into her shoulders. Her father held the babies with trembling hands, whispering, I failed you, my daughter. Forgive me.
Don't
She
stress.
smiled as she said,
You feared
Don't
for me.
stress, father.
I
You
understand
feared for me
and I
then.
forgive
I
you."
understand and I forgive you. Even Wekesa, her ex-husband, called. He was stunned. He stuttered for a full minute, then finally said, Congratulations, Mariana. This is a miracle, you know. I don't understand. Are they truly yours? She laughed softly for the first time. Yes, they are mine, my true flesh and blood. God has truly remembered you. He hesitated. Do you think we can still get back together? The audacity. No way, Kesa. I'm at peace, she replied gently. There's no us anymore, he whispered. It's okay, I understand. When all the visitors had left on the second day, she turned to her God again, still not believing that she was Mama Wapacha Watatu as they fondly referred to her.
Thank you,
Thank you,
God. I
God.
pray
I pray
that you
that
would
you
make
make
me a
me a
mother
mother
of
of
even a
even a
single
single
child
child
one
one
day.
day,
And
and
God,
God,
in
in
your
your kindness,
kindness,
you
you
did
did
not
not
forget.
forget me.
You
You
tripled my
tripled my
blessings,
blessings.
she whispered with exhaustion. Her nights were filled with cries,
Thank
lullabies,
you
and prayers of gratitude. She helped the nanny with the
for these
laundry,
little
cooking porridge, and
miracles.
sanitizing the baby's bottles. Her bed was scattered with toys, and the trio grew very fast, their little personalities shining. With slow but steady progress, she saved enough money and built a beautiful home with a playground for the children. Every evening, she sat outside with them as the coastal wind whispered through the branches, still counting her blessings. When the children turned 3, she traveled back to her parents' home. Clan elders were summoned. They performed a blessing ceremony, intended to cleanse her of her past sorrow and any evil trappings that might have blocked her destiny. Wewe usiniulize hizo ni gani, mi hata sijui na sielewi. They spoke ancient words of protection and blessings to the triplets and their mother. Her parents washed their hands with herbal water before blessing the triplets. They smeared them with milk cream to ward off any evil. Motherhood transformed her life. Her home was filled with cries and laughter in equal measure. Mariana had her beautiful and happy ending. But beyond this story, there's a hard question that we must confront together. What happens to the countless women who live in societies where a woman's worth is measured by her womb, where acceptance, dignity, and respect are treated as rewards for motherhood alone? Are these women somehow less human or less worthy? Are they children of a lesser God? Childlessness is not a moral failure or a curse. It should never be a reason for exclusion, shame, or cruelty. No woman deserves to be pushed into silence, loneliness, or despair simply because her journey to motherhood looks different or never arrives at all. It's time we challenge these harmful beliefs. It's time we stand up for the rights, dignity, and humanity of all women, mothers and unmothers alike. Compassion should not be conditional. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Let's keep this conversation going. Share your reflections in the comment section and pass this story on to someone who needs to hear it. If this message moved you, please subscribe to my channel, Walnut Stories. Like and share.